What's up, everybody? Welcome into Talkin Grizz, presented by Wiseacre Brewing Company. I'm Kelcey, and joining me today from the NBA bubble is the Washington Post national NBA writer, Ben Golliver. Welcome.
I'm glad to be here. It's great to be here. How are you?
I'm good. How's the bubble treating you?
Well, it's always nice to have contact with the outside world. It gets a little bit claustrophobic in here. They're letting us out of our room now, which is a nice upgrade from the first week when we were in quarantine. But there's so much basketball going on here. Really, my mind is just kind of like spinning constantly. It's something like 10 games a day. You have to pick and choose which games you want to see. I know Monday night, there's a big one though, right?
Yeah, well, you know what I think is crazy, and sorry to interrupt the Monday night thing, but what's crazy is we kind of went from 0 to 100. So we had no basketball, we were all complaining, and now it's like, there's so much to watch.
Oh, for sure. And all the stars were ready to rock too. I mean, I give them the credit here. They had to put together this entire plan, agree with the league about it. And then everyone wants to say, well, what are they going to look like after 4 months off? Are they going to be in shape? Are they going to be ready to rock? And in the first 3 days, you see LeBron, Kawhi, Paul George, Anthony Davis, John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Damian Lillard. I mean, name a star, and that player played incredible, through the first couple of days. I didn't even mention James Harden, 49, Giannis going crazy against the Celtics. I know Jason Tatum had a nice game on Sunday too. So pretty much whoever your favorite player is, they're getting off so far here in the first couple of days of the bubble, and they're kind of starting with a bang.
Yeah, the guys came ready to ball. So talking about ready to ball, you said it. So tonight, the Pelicans will take on the Grizzlies. It is a big matchup, obviously. This game has playoff implications. These teams vying for that number 8 spot. If you had kind of a crystal ball, Ben, you could see the future. You don't even need to see the future. What's your prediction on the game?
Well, I'll say this. Memphis is coming in a much more stable position. I think New Orleans is really kind of a walking wounded type team. I've seen their first couple games here. Something's going on with Zion Williamson. We don't really know what it is from a health standpoint. He does not have his typical incredible pop and athleticism. Even when he's going through warm-ups before games, it's kind of like 50%. I mean, it's not really all in. Now, of course, he left the bubble a couple of weeks ago to attend to a family emergency, and he didn't really get a lot of practice time since he came back. So it seems like they're limiting his minutes to a certain degree, but there's also a question of, is he fully healthy, or exactly what is his status? What kind of a condition is he in? And, he's the guy who makes that team go. When he was out with his injury earlier this season, they lost 13 straight games. That's not a team that's going to compete for the playoffs, right? The only reason why they're even in this mix right now is because he had such a big impact when he came back. So I think if you're looking at Memphis's run so far here in Orlando, including during the preseason scrimmage games, they looked excellent at times. John Morant, like I mentioned, playing very strong. Jaren Jackson Jr., same deal. I think he had 30-plus points against the Blazers, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're going to say which team comes in with better momentum, I think for sure it's Memphis.
I mean, I like to hear that coming from Memphis, so I would have said that. It's nice to hear someone on the national stage say that as well. Let's talk really quickly about the Rookie of the Year race. So obviously they came out and said that the voting is only going to count kind of up until March. Let's go into this alternate world where it could have gone all the way up until playoffs, from the beginning of the season until playoffs. Do you think it would have made a difference? Because we have heard, obviously, voting is done. John Morant has kind of got the consensus on Rookie of the Year. Do you think it would have made a difference?
Well, I think if you had asked me this question a couple of days ago, I would have said it was possible, just because Zion had so much momentum coming in during March. But the way he's played here, I mean, I think he's actually taken a step backward, unfortunately. Now, I'm one of the biggest Zion guys in the world. I mean, I think he has the chance to be a very, very special player, kind of the face of the NBA going forward here for the next decade. But I mean, to me, it always boils down to the greatest ability is availability. You've got to be out there on the court, producing and leading for your team. That was an issue for Zion before the shutdown, and now it's an issue for him after the shutdown. I think at this point, which player is having a bigger impact, whether you're saying in Orlando or over the course of the entire rookie season, there's really no question. I mean, Ja wins on both counts. So, I mean, it might have been a fun debate, but I think, unfortunately, the debate is kind of overtaking what's actually happening on the court. And Zion just hasn't been that guy. I hate to say it, because nobody's rooting harder for his success than me, except for maybe Adam Silver. He's probably like the #1 Zion fan right now. Right. But besides that, we want to see great things from him, and unfortunately it just hasn't been there. Now, Ja, on the other hand, I mean, this guy, it looks like he has a trampoline on the court with some of these dunks, flying 12 feet into the air, putting his life at risk. I'm sure there's a lot of fans there in Memphis who watch him like this, a little worried that he might have a crash landing. But He's a special player, but also his intelligence, his court feel is really what's the most underrated part about him. I think people who watch him every night, like your fans and viewers, understand that. I think the rest of the NBA still views him as like this athletic freak, and maybe they don't understand the subtleties to his game. There's a lot to work with there. I mean, to me, I've already come out and made this prediction, but I think he's going to be an all-star in 2021. I would not have said that prior to coming here to Orlando, but just the way he carries himself, the weight that he's added, how he controls the offense, the intelligence factor that I mentioned. I mean, he's on track for really, really big things.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. That is Ben's prediction, all-star for Ja Morant next season. Ben, thank you so much for being here with us today. And Memphis Grizzlies fans, you can get more on grindcitymedia.com.